Across the Yukon campus, there is a lot of litter. Some people blame it on a lack of trash cans, especially ones that are close enough together, but that doesn't really seem to be the case. So what can Yukon possibly do to help limit the litter on campus and change the norms of our waste disposal? Maybe take a page out of Germany's book. Germany is often commended for their recycling and waste organization systems, but there are different systems implemented in different regions and cities. So we'll take Frankfurt, for example. Frankfurt, like most of Germany, organizes domestic waste by using a color-coordinated system. Different bin colors correspond with different types of domestic waste. Green or blue bins are for disposing of paper products, including cardboards, newspapers, magazines, books, and mail. Brown bins are for biodegradable products, which includes fruits and vegetables, food waste, yard waste like grass cuttings or leaves, coffee grounds, and eggshells. Yellow bins are for plastic and also some metals. These can include plastic packaging, plastic bottles and cartons, aluminum foil, and metal cans. Black trash bins are for most of the other domestic waste, which can include diapers, dog waste, and rubber materials like bike tires. Not following these rules of disposal can lead to you getting a fine. There are still some materials that aren't included in this disposal bin system. Electronics and batteries are usually dealt with in other facilities. There are places for citizens to drop off their larger waste and electronics, often for free. Some of these facilities take apart electronics for their more valuable pieces and send the materials like plastics and metals to be recycled and then reused. Most types of bottles have return bins where they belong instead. The glass is even separated by color, white, brown, or green. There are some people who actually search through other people's bins to find bottles and return them. They might even do so as their only source of income. Similar to here in the US, consumers get money back for returning their bottles, but in Germany, the rate is much higher. The return rate for bottles in Germany is generally pretty high, over 98%, really putting the US to shame with our mere 30%. Interestingly, plastic drink bottles can be reused around 20 times, while glass bottles can be reused up to around 50 times in Germany. So waste really can be a valuable resource. About 1% of Germany's energy comes from waste incineration, which powers hundreds of thousands of homes, but there's not really any clear number since it depends on the source. And while it's not the most sustainable option, we do have similar systems here in the US, and it works for now, but it should be moved away from in time because it still emits carbon and has negative environmental impacts. Another city, Kiel, is Germany's first zero-waste city. Zero Waste City is a certification awarded to cities in Europe that meet the Zero Waste Europe standards. It's really just what it sounds like, an initiative working towards zero waste and circular economies, which are systems where the economy is based in the reuse of materials, so less waste is produced if they keep reusing the same materials over and over. Basically, once the city is labeled as a zero-waste city, they can gain up to 5 stars based on the improvements they make, and must continue to make improvements to remain a zero-waste city. There are some more particular initiatives that are implemented in Kiel that make it so interesting. These are things we could implement here in the US as well. Often, hair swept up from barbershops gets turned into filters that help separate oil from water, particularly helpful in oil spills. The government gives money to families who use reusable cloth diapers instead of the disposable ones. Promoting use of solid soap instead of bottled, which also applies for shampoos and conditioners, which have been growing in popularity recently in the US. Or if you still prefer liquid soaps, here in the US there are plenty of places where you can go to refill glass or reusable containers. My favorite cafe in my hometown actually has the option for this. Most of the reason that Germany has become so efficient in their waste programs is the culture surrounding them. Information about waste management is taught in schools from a young age, and the money required for upkeep of these systems of disposal is generally built into the prices of goods. More than 2/3 of solid waste in Germany in 2021 was collected to be repurposed or recycled. Only about 1% of their waste that year ended up in landfills, but still a large portion ends up in the incinerator. These organization systems have also been around and legally supported for a couple of decades now. Waste collectors literally won't take bags of trash that have been improperly sorted. That isn't to say that everyone in Germany is great with recycling, because, like I said, not everybody even sorts it correctly. Like some people, and others get very frustrated with this, some people forget that dirtied pizza boxes don't belong in paper recycling bin. But that happens in a lot of countries.
Please bring me pizza and make sure that these boxes are not recycled.
Speaking of other countries, tourists also play a large role. Imagine being in a country where you just don't really understand what goes where, especially when the systems of disposal might vary drastically from city to city. It causes a bit of confusion, so the system doesn't always work. While no system is truly perfect, Germany in general has done a really good job at making sure its waste is dealt with, compared to other places around the world. If you're interested in how to better deal with your own waste on an individual level, there are many things you can do at home. Consider starting a compost bin. This is a really great way of dealing with some of your domestic waste. Compost also creates a nutrient-rich mixture, which is great to use as a fertilizer for your houseplants or even a home garden. Also, keeping different recycling bins, separating the things that you can return for money. Bottle returns are now up to 10 cents in Connecticut, so you can make back that money by returning them. Also, staying informed about the right ways to recycle. When getting rid of recyclable food containers, you should clean out any residual food waste inside of them. Obviously, the best way to help with the issues in waste management are at the source, by reducing your own waste output. Even simple things like making your own coffee or tea in the mornings, or using a reusable drink container instead of a single-use cup can help limit your waste. There are a lot of really obvious options as well, like reusable shopping bags, reusable water bottles, secondhand shopping, and especially limiting your food waste, which is one of the major issues in the US. We have a long way to go if we want to try to deal with our waste, and an even longer way to go to reach anywhere near zero waste. But some of these examples help to show that it is really possible to do better for the world, and for ourselves. We can take small steps, but legislation and cultural norms play an even larger role in regulating waste. Still, with plenty of work, it can be done.